These we can't plant too deep. If we do, they'll damp off. Okay, what about our lavender? Now, where do you think we should put them? Back here?
So about the same.
Put a little more water on that too. Just take the very center, like just those 2 small leaves. Maybe we'll put the 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we could put 5 in there. Do you think? Yeah, I can't count to 5. I say herbs. That's what we were taught when we were growing up, that it was herbs. You never heard anyone say it was herbs. They had to grow herbs to make medicine for the settlers. They called it the first prescription. They made use of anything they could. These people were as self-sufficient as they could be.
You're not smiling.
Back in the 1800s, they didn't smile when they had the picture taken. My name is Mona Reeves. I was born in the 40s, 40 settlement it was called then. I pretty much lived here all my life. Well, I don't know, I suppose I kind of became interested by degrees and not realizing that I was really interested in it. But Mom and Dad used to use different things, and I imagine that's where the first started. A lot what I learned from my parents, and then some of it I learned on my own. But then I learned quite a bit here working at the farm with the herb garden.
I'd like you to meet our guide, Mona Reeves.
How do you do?
She's our treasure.
Yes.
We think in New Ross, we actually spend a lot of time going to her for information about plants, all kinds of plants.
I don't always know.
You know more than anybody else knows, so that helps.
She always says she doesn't know anything, and you know, she really resisted doing programs because she didn't figure she knew enough. She's done things in Ottawa. She's done programs at Louisbourg, in the Fortress of Louisbourg, and she's the flax expert, and she is just an unbelievable fountain of knowledge. And she's so down to earth about it, and she's not pretentious about it.
We can go in here.
Some afternoons I'd go out and take a group through the herb garden and tell them all about the things we did and what we use these things for. I enjoyed that.
If you read in a book that it says the whole plant, that means what grows above the earth, the root, the whole thing. But if it says whole herb, it's just what grows above the ground. Be careful because some of the roots are poisonous. Sheep sorrel, that you can eat. It's sour.
Yes.
This, I think, is sarsaparilla. They use the root of that to make root beer. This is a wood sorrel. You can eat the leaves of that, put that in salads. That's Queen Anne's lace, the plant that our carrot is derived from. And the roots can be used to eat.
All right.
You can smell the carrot.
I am not a carrot.
There were a lot of beech trees, and in the spring of the year when those leaves first came out, we used to gather those leaves and put vinegar on them and eat them.
Yum.
Well, we thought they were good.
You can tell when people are following somebody. The group is so tight with Mona today. They're just grabbing on every single word she said.
Mona's great. What an amazing source of information.
I could taste those beech leaves and vinegar.
I was born here in Nova Scotia, and I moved to New Ross when I was 5. I've been here ever since. When I began here in '88, I knew very little, if anything.
Well, Monique took a real interest in Mona right from the beginning. She and Mona have really had it's almost like a apprenticeship.
Yeah, they should be down here by the lake. I've seen some.
techniques been learning from Mona for the whole time that she's been here, and they have a real connection.
I think it's just a little too hot. It is tough.
I was hired mainly that first summer to work in the gardens. What's this one, Mona?
That's wood sorrel. And you know the dandelion.
The dandelion I've got figured out. Mona and I worked along quite well because she also was enjoyed the outdoors, getting into the dirt with her hands.
We're well blessed with weeds.
And it's important to for her not only to pass that on to me, but for us to pass it on to the public, which is our job here at Ross Farm.
I have the globe thistles, which are quite nice, and then I have the William and Mary, or lungwort, and I have sneezeweed. Okay. That is a fall flower, and it's quite tall. You'd have flowers for Thanksgiving. Those are really good plants. It should be somewhere where it gets good air circulation. No, you don't usually fertilize stuff after the 1st of August.
Okay.
Give them a little water before you take them out of the container.
Okay, thank you.
I notice everybody's asking you about advice about plants and stuff.
Well, if I know, I tell them. Carry it like that. Just keeps your car from getting dirty. Thank you.
One of the problems that we're having, we're on the 2nd generation, maybe even the 3rd generation removed from farms, and there's a lot of knowledge that's being lost. At the farm here, we're doing a program called Generation to Generation. So we're trying to get our grandmothers and grandfathers in the area to pass on their knowledge to just people at large or their grandchildren, and just so we don't lose all this stuff.
This is mint, and mint, a lot of people would take and make mint tea when they had a cold, and it's good for digestion and for gas. Oh, here's mullein. Most books will tell you that the oil from the flowers was good for earache. This is pineapple weed. You rub that over yourself to keep from getting insect bites.
Oh, pineapple
weed, yeah.
I didn't know that all these years.
This is colt's foot. That was used for cough, any respiratory disease, especially asthma, and they would take and smoke the leaves. They actually smoked them. That's gold thread. You use it for sore mouth or fever blisters or gargle.
The whole thing?
No, just that gold part.
Just the gold part, okay.
It's bitter as gall.
You need a whole
The old man, was it used for anything?
The old man was used, considered an aphrodisiac, and it was...
To think that you could go out into the woods and gather what you needed, where we depend on a drugstore today or a doctor to heal us. A lot of the times they didn't have that option.
That's a willow. It contains aspirin-like substance, and the natives use that. They chew on twigs.
Really?
Everybody had tansy growing in their backyard years ago. After childbirth, the midwives made tea and gave it to the women to drink, and my father always steeped that up and gave it to the cows after they had their calves. This here, they would wash their face with the tea that they made, and it was supposed to keep your skin smooth. I've never tried it, but yeah, too late for me.
Mona's experience of what she grew up with as a child was wonderful, hearing her stories that happened with her mom, and it makes it more real.
And when Mom had ulcers, that's what they told her to use on it, was the witch hazel. You can buy it in the drugstore, yeah.
Every single time you go out with her, she'll know in the winter you can do this. In the spring, you take this part of the plant. In the midsummer, you can use this part. In the fall, this is all the things you can do. And then she knows how to preserve them. She knows how to make tea out of them.
Did you smell it?
She's part of nature. She's part of that whole rhythm. She knows exactly what to do at every season.
And it's good for, like, if you have indigestion?
Yes, gas.
Just take a whole handful home with you.
So what are these not the What's coming up on that?
Well, that might be...
You always met interesting people, and some people, if you know, done anything for them or told them anything, they seem to appreciate it.
It'd be nice to borrow Mona for a whole season or you know, a summer at least. I felt like it was just the tip of the iceberg.
Letting us be in touch with nature and our roots and all of that is incredibly important.
All these things have to be passed on because once they're lost, they're gone. So I think we need to pass these on and know them, and I want my children to know all these things.
I still has a soft spot for the Ross farm. Well, they're trying to keep the older ways alive and preserve things the way it was done back at the beginning of the settlement. I feel that anything that we can do to keep it alive, we should do. What else? Oh, I don't know if I should tell you this or not, but I didn't use this and I never used it, and I don't think you'll ever find me using it. But when she said when she had the measles, they made tea out of sheep droppings, and she had to drink that to bring the measles out on her. And my father told us when the flu went around in 1918, 1919, that a lot of them were sick in bed. He said Mrs. Lake came out with this stuff for them to drink. He said, I knew what it was made of, and he said, I wasn't drinking it. He said, I shoved it back under the bed. Made believe I did drink it, but he said, I never drank that.
You have to be pretty desperate, I think, to boil up some sheep droppings.
But Daisy said she drank it. She said they made her drink it to bring the measles out on her. But I think I would be pretty...